live. Yeah, we going live. Hey, we going live. Yeah, we going live. Yeah, we going. Yeah, we going. Yeah, we going live. From the 50-yard line, we going live. From the 50-yard line, we going live. From the 50-yard line. Hey.
Hello, beautiful people.
Hello.
I am Jarrett, the football genius Burgess.
And I'm Stephanie Fitzpatrick, a.k.a. the Advantage Coach.
And this is episode 78 of the Field to the Real podcast. Wait, no.
No,
78.
I was about to say something's wrong with
88.
that because we in the 80s. Okay.
88.
Yeah. Okay. I was about to be like, dang, because...
Listen, guys, I'm going to tell y'all. This is our dedication to this podcast. Okay. It is Thanksgiving evening.
Yeah.
Steph ain't ate yet.
I don't even have no food. It's dark outside, y'all. And
it is dark outside. Steph ain't ate yet. And we are recording this podcast because we're just dedicated to bringing you guys good content.
Gotta make sure we do what we do.
Yeah. So we got to keep pressing forward. So first, it's episode 88. I apologize. Episode 88, which means that we're closer and closer to that 100 mark.
Yeah.
And that's why I like, doing this episode was super important to me because like we're continuing to inch, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Step by step towards that 100.
And
shoot, before we even get to 100, like our 2-year anniversary of the podcast is the second week of January.
Yeah.
We've been doing this for almost 2 years.
2 years.
Now think back to when, and I'm sorry, I promise I'm gonna.
You good?
You could. We'll jump right to this. Who's really right? But I really was reflecting the other day about like us. This is gonna be our 2-year anniversary, and like, I remember when I first mentioned the idea of a podcast to you, you were like, huh? What?
Nobody want to hear my voice. That's what I'm saying in my mind. Nobody wants to hear my voice. What?
And so 2 years later to like see how many episodes we've done and how consistent we've been with this thing, like it's just remarkable.
Yeah.
And it's difficult too, we have stuff that, we need to do. Sometimes we gotta life, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes like we gotta alter things. And that's why I gotta say, like, I appreciate you so much because with as much as I be doing and, you're always like flexible and like, okay, we could do this and we could do that. Like, so I just want you to know I truly appreciate it.
Well, on this Thanksgiving, and I'll say the same, like like the work that you do just behind the scenes even and making sure that this gets out, that it looks a certain way, that it's like, it's the work that you do, because that stuff, we'd be in trouble if we were waiting on me to do. So I thank you as well, sir, for your dedication to this and just, and I want to say this too. I want to say I thank God for the divine connection.
Yeah.
Because whether y'all know it or not, like, we do this podcast, like, we co-host, but that's my brother.
Yeah.
Like, real talk, like, that's my brother. And so I'm just grateful for this opportunity to have that divine connection that we had, and to be in this space, in this place with you. I wouldn't want to be rocking with nobody but you with this, sir.
Right. And it's funny, like, we talk about things being God ordained and all of that.
Yeah.
Right. Like just how, and we've told the story before, but just the fact that, we exchanged info at that, at shout out to Lawrence, exchanged info at, that networking session. And then to not have any contact.
Yeah.
And then for it to come full circle, like, about maybe 6 months later, like, that stuff like that is when, like God has his hand in, and there's a bigger play,
Absolutely.
Emotion.
Absolutely. We just going to keep pressing because we believe in yeah, that what we're doing is it's for a good.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Who's really right?
All right.
Who's really right? All right. So this who's really right spawned out of a conversation just about leadership. And it started with Kyler Murray and his leadership style, but the conversation just kind of morphed into what does leadership look like, right? Mm-hmm. And so I'm going to let you go first, right? Okay. Mm-hmm. But I think this is I think this is a great conversation, right? Just based on the stuff that we see, the things that we perceive, and just, how things go in a locker room, on a sideline. And so this is a very important conversation. Yeah. So I want you to kick it off. So yeah, I'm sorry. Without further
ado. No, you're good. Yeah, no, you're good. So yeah, this kind of spawned from just kind of watching Kyler Murray the last couple of weeks. And I think like earlier in the season, it was kind of said that he's a little less social than most of his teammates.
Right.
And so I think that kind of piqued my interest to start to just kind of observe him more. And in watching him, like you said, our conversation just kind of grew from just about Kyler, but I want to talk about it from the standpoint and the respect, and no knock on Kyler Murray, because he is an amazing football player. And clearly he's doing something. They're in a good position. But as someone who, outside of my sports side, and even within my sports side, even with what we do outside of this podcast, when we are talking to high school students or college students, leadership is always one of those topics that we have to cover.
Right.
And in my opinion, leadership is not just about somebody's actions per se, but so much of leadership is in personality.
Okay.
And I'll say this, it's personality, and one of the huge components of leadership to me is communication.
Okay.
And when you are, and we don't know what happens in the locker room. So all I can talk about is what I see on the field and what I see on the sidelines when it comes to anybody that's considered to be a leader of their team, or whether that's basketball, football, baseball, whatever. But when you are considered a leader of that team, it's just some certain qualities that I think you have to have. And one of those is a personality that can build rapport. And you brought up someone when we were having that conversation that like kind of spiraled into this whole leadership talk.
Yeah.
That and that's Jay Cutler.
Yes.
We've talked about him on here before, and so nobody will be shocked to hear me say that I think he was someone who demonstrated to me, from what I saw on the field and on the sidelines, poor leadership, because of those two things there are so many factors and things that go into making a great leader. Yeah. This is not what the show is about, but those are two key things that I think, especially when it comes to sports. And I feel like he failed at both. Being a good communicator and just being somebody because here's the thing, guess what, y'all? I'm an introvert. I am not an extrovert.
Yeah.
I'm an introvert.
Mm-hmm.
And in order for me to do this or my job, I have to step outside of my comfort zone within my personality to do a job or do this at a level that is going to yield the best results.
Right.
If I were just my natural self, you would be tuned out, because I'm not that person. And so as a leader, sometimes you have to step outside of your own personality, your own natural state, in order to lead your team when you know you're not. Because there are people who just naturally have what it takes to build rapport, to motivate, to get people crunk, to do all of those things. It's just some people that's just naturally who they are. And I'm not saying you got to be an extrovert to be that way, but it helps. Right. But when you're introverted and you don't push beyond that to be what you need to be on the field or on the court, then it just makes you look like Kyler Murray looked standoffish to me. Yeah. Jay Cutler looked, I don't even want to call it standoffish. I don't even know what it was. Like
disinterested.
He was like, I have not one care. Like the title of Kevin Hart's latest was his motto.
No else given.
No else given. That was his motto. So I just look at that and say, like, how do I, as a teammate or somebody that's looking at you to be the leader, how do I garner energy from that? How do I get excited, motivated? You're not giving me anything.
Yeah.
So that's why I feel like, for me, leadership your personality, being aware of who you are and your personality and making the right adjustments to that based on that. Because there's some people who are extroverted who are over the top, and you see that too as leaders. So I'm not saying you got to just be chatty, Kathy. Yeah. I'm saying you just need to be somebody who recognizes the room and can adjust. That's a good leader.
That's a good point. That's a good point. So, you just kind of threw a dart in my argument. And so what I was going to lead with was, one, I think it's very difficult to truly understand someone's leadership style just by maybe some of the small amounts of time that we get to see them, on Sunday. It's kind of, and I use Jay Cutler as my example, but I only use him as an example to say that, like, our perception of what he was, because I hold that same perception of what he wasn't necessarily in line with what his teammates said he was, right? Mm-hmm. And that part is difficult, right? I think one of the things that I think about when I think about leadership is the book, The 5 Love Languages, right? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So we all have a love language that we speak and that we receive, right? It's the way that we want to be loved. Mm-hmm. It's the way that we show our love to others.
Right.
I think that there's also a leadership language, right? Not everybody on the team.
You about to write a book, Jarrett?
Huh?
You about to write a book?
You know what I'm saying?
Leadership language. Come on with it, brother. Yeah.
And so right now in my research, there are 10 leadership styles.
Yeah.
Not everybody is going to accept leadership in the same way. So when we look at this football team and, an NFL team, 53-man roster, but when I think about my college days, not everybody received the same, like, leadership the same way. I didn't need the rah-rah, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Speech, like, win one for the Gipper. I didn't need that to be able to go play. What I did see was, and shout out to my guy, Antoine Bethea, I think about my freshman year. And I was a freshman. I was starting at defensive end. And this guy who was a partial scholarship guy, shout out to him. He had a long, amazing career in the NFL filled with Pro Bowls and Super Bowls.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He didn't talk much. Now, he did a little bit of talking, like, you know, when we think about, like, in the huddle and playing around and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. But as far as, like, you know, let's get it together, a lot of the stuff that made me want to play better was watching him, like, terrorize a game. And it's like, yo, I got to add to that.
Yeah.
You know, and so, but I had teammates who, they needed that rah-rah, you know, and so when looking at a team, and specifically a football team, because there's so many personalities, there's so many people on a team, like it's different than basketball. You have a less amount of people.
Right.
And we all didn't get pumped the same way.
Right.
And that's why
I think like learning. I get it. Yeah.
Multiple learning styles, right?
Right. Yeah.
So I think when we think about a leader and we talk about the qualities of what a great leader is or a good leader, there's one picture, and not speaking about you, but there's one picture that I used to see when thinking about leadership. Mm-hmm. It's the person who was extroverted. It's the person who always spoke and talked, and you know, he backed up his play and this, that, and the third, and that's what I thought leadership was. Until I started experiencing some different styles of leadership, like, you know, shout out to Coach Bobby. Coach Bobby had one way of trying to motivate me. That didn't work for me. Like the degradation and the, you know, you ain't in and all that. You know what I'm saying? Like that didn't work for me.
Yeah.
Shout out to Coach Mack. I talk about Coach Mack all the time.
All the time, yeah.
Like he knew how to push my buttons to get me to play better.
Right.
But
that was about your love languages too. I'm sorry, I'm not cutting you off.
Yeah,
that was about
definitely.
Your love language, because he knew if he talked to you in a certain way, like it was more about But that goes back to my point, Jarrett.
Yeah, right. I mean, which is crazy, because I said that I wanted us to do this as Who's Really Right, and we're really coming to the same point. We really are, and that's the point. And I think that point is that your leadership has to fit the situation that you're in.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess where we're different is I feel like there are certain things that every leader needs to have, regardless of your style of getting it done. You still need to recognize your personality so that you can read a room, and you need to be able to communicate. I don't care. Those two things.
Right.
I don't care whether you screaming or you whispering.
Got to be some communication. Right.
And whether you say 2 words and you go out and you show, or you say 20 words and you still it doesn't. That's not the point. That's not the point. Is those are the 2 things that you need to have. I think that's where I'm saying, like, those definitely. 2 things. Yeah. Yeah. Like outside of that, like, I don't care how you get it done, you need to get it done.
Right.
And I feel like that's kind of where I was like, I don't know, with Kyler Murray, like, it's just weird. Even in watching him, even in the huddle, like, it's just weird. I've never seen a quarterback that's like this kid before. I haven't.
So when I brought up Jay Cutler's name, you were like, those 2, like, no, we cannot compare them.
Not at all.
But to the point that you made during our conversation, Kyler Murray is seeing results, which means that there's no way as a quarterback, right? And for those of you who are listening who went to Coolidge High School, you must remember that I was a quarterback back in the day. The team that I was a quarterback of, I was a 10th grader. I was in the 10th grade. I was the starting quarterback. And it was a team full of seniors. So one, the level of leadership or the style of leadership that team needed didn't call, like, I probably was the Kyler Murray of that team. Wait, let me rewind, because I wasn't that good. I definitely wasn't.
We know you meant it in terms of
yes, in terms of leadership
it wasn't
style.
about his talent.
I certainly wasn't as good as Kyler Murray is.
Yeah.
But as far as leadership style,
yeah,
I wasn't super vocal. Like, I wasn't getting on folks, and because this was a veteran team around me,
right?
And so there were leaders already amongst us.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And I probably needed that leadership during that time. Like, this was a new position for me. I just knew I was going to be the starting tight end, and boom, I ended up being the quarterback. Yeah. So
you threw that ball down that field, boy. Get over there.
Right, get over here, get in behind the center. But no, I you know, it's just I think we expect anyone who is the quarterback of a team to be the ultimate leader, right? Which just isn't, consistent with what we've seen over time. Mm-hmm. I don't care who was the quarterback of the Ravens in the early 2000s. The unquestioned leader of that team was Ray Lewis.
Ray Lewis, absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? And so,
I mean, Joe Flacco was there, but yeah. Mm-hmm.
Did you? Oh my God!
I'm sorry, that was my personal. that slipped out. That was my personal nickname back in the day. So,
Flacco. Yeah. Nah, that's real.
Flacco. He was definitely. But another one. There's another example to me. They did well, but they had a defense that was unstoppable. Well, that was stopping everybody. But he wasn't really. I mean, I don't know.
Oh, Flacco?
Joe Flacco. He was practically invisible.
I wouldn't say invisible. When we think about that team, because you remember the starting wide receiver on that team was Anquan Bolden. Yes. One of the starting wide receivers.
Right. And then they had, who was the running back? Like, they had a good running back, too. Who was their running back? They had a good running back, too. Because he got in trouble. Ray Rice?
Ray Rice. Was Ray Rice the running back during that time?
Yeah.
Okay.
I believe he was.
Yeah, okay.
I believe Ray Rice was their running back.
Okay.
So like you just faded it. I mean, and you don't have to be boisterous and out front and all of that kind of stuff. That's not what I'm saying. I don't know. I just say the difference between, let me just say this too, because you talking about it, but you didn't expound on it. Jay Cutler and Kyler Murray, not only is it about the difference in the results they're receiving, but it is also, I think, a very different attitude from these two dudes. I feel like Kyler Murray is just extremely introverted.
Yeah.
Very introverted. I think he's just not that dude. Like, that would be me. I would be him.
Well, so I didn't want to say that, right? But that was going to be my point. Your leadership style, right? The way that you lead, you lead by example. Because when I think back to some of the things that, like stuff that we needed to complete or have done, you got it done and you were like, all right, hey, everybody, where y'all stuff at? You know what I'm saying? But even when like we need a kick in the pants and it's like, Jarrett, did you get this done? Or, you know what I'm saying? Like, is this complete? Like, but you're not like down our throat or like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's not your style, but you will like quickly like get us together. Like, hey, did you get this done? Oh, okay. All right. Yeah. Or, you know what I'm saying? Like, hey, I finished this, that, and the third where everybody else at. But that's effective. That's effective for me. Yeah. Like seeing you do stuff and like, okay, I did this, that, and the third, and it's like, okay, I need to get my stuff together. You know what I'm saying? Like, so, you know what I'm saying? Like, that works for me.
Yeah, I mean, I guess. But you said it, there's a 53-man roster, and like it or not, quarterbacks are typically seen as leaders.
Yeah.
And so at some point, you're going to have to, I don't know, somebody needs you to yell at them. Somebody, that's how they get it done.
Yeah.
Somebody gonna need you to yell at them at some point.
That's true.
I mean, that's not my style, but guess what? I have done it. Ask those children that done it.
Hey, Doug, I'm sure they seen it.
Yeah, ask them. Yeah, I have done it. So
I think we could stay on this topic all day. We really could.
Sorry.
You know what I'm saying? Well, no. It's nah. I think this is one of those topics like leadership and leadership style that I think, especially in athletics, we got to get right, because some people see like the perception of leadership. Okay, this is how I'm supposed to lead, so this is how I'm going to lead. Mm-hmm. Like regardless of personality, like if I see that being rah-rah is the way that I'm supposed to lead, even if I'm an introvert, I'm going to be rah-rah because that's how I was groomed. Yeah. And so I think if we, especially like these kids coming up, if they see all of these leadership styles and understand like when it's time to be this, when it's time to be that, what does the situation call for? I think they'll understand like leadership a lot better. Shout out to John Maxwell, because everything I know about leadership is because of his books.
Okay.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah. So no, I'm with, somebody I just thought about whose leadership style absolutely was so extroverted and so over the top that I think it killed his career. Mike Singletary.
Oh, okay. That's a good one. Talking about as a coach
yeah, as a coach.
Well, certainly as a player, but as a coach, yeah.
It was too much. It was too much.
Man, where is he now? We
got to figure out what Mike After that, it was like, bye. Like,
yeah, and then they got Harbaugh in there, and they started winning games. He wasn't no better.
Like,
So. I mean, he saw better results.
Because you know what? But you know why? Mm-hmm. He was able to read a room. Yeah. He was, and he's a really good natural motivator. Personality is very extroverted. Mm-hmm. And he's very forceful. But you knew you had to come in there, and I tell you somebody who's a master at this, Pete Carroll.
Yes. He is.
Pete Carroll is like a master at this.
Pete Carroll is like if I was coaching, that's what I would be aiming to. Yeah.
He is a master at that. Like him, Andy Reid, masters at what do I need? I need to push this one. I need to coddle this. But it just requires
maximizing like what you get out of your players.
Yeah,
they are like the gurus of that.
They are like, and I know we're talking about it from coaches, not we were talking about players, but still, it's still the same thing. Yeah. So I want Kyler Murray to be able to adjust.
Yeah.
That's what it is. That's where I'm at with that. I want him to be it's almost the Bill Belichick mindset that you just gonna have to do it my way or it ain't gonna work. And that's not gonna work with everybody.
Okay, so this is year 2 for Kyler Murray, right? And this is my only thing with that. I think the unquestioned leader of that team is Larry Fitzgerald.
I know.
But
he ain't no boisterous dude, so.
Well, he's not, but I feel like he commands, like when he walks in a room, especially like a Cardinals room, he commands the respect of that entire team.
Yeah.
And I think that, like, Kyler Murray, like, you can't come in there and try to usurp that.
Can I say something, though?
Go ahead. Yeah.
What did Kurt Warner do?
Okay.
I'm just saying, because Larry was already there.
Well,
I'm just saying.
In fairness, Kurt Warner came in there with a Super Bowl resume. And so I think when you come in the room and you can flash like some jewelry and say, I've been there before.
Yeah.
Like, what we doing?
People are listening.
People want to listen. If you coming from college and you won a Heisman, okay, that ain't on this level.
But this year too.
True.
Because I'm going to say he a rookie, and I think Hubert.
Justin Herbert?
Herbert, that's his name. Him. He demonstrates more.
Question.
And he's an introvert too.
Did you see this out of Russell Wilson his first couple of years?
See what out of him?
Like that, the ideal like leader.
No, it takes time to grow that, but he was more than I'm seeing out of Kyler. I'm gonna just say that.
Okay.
It was more than and I'm not saying Kyler's not a good leader. I'm just saying I'm not seeing the adjustments or the growth or him. You just gotta come out your shell some, bro. Like just a little bit. Just stick your head out. Right. You know what I mean? Like something. You know, like
that's real.
I want him to be
Nah, I'm with you on that. On that.
I just want him to be he is such an amazing talent. I want him to be a complete talent. I don't want anybody to be saying, yeah, he's good, but.
Yeah.
I don't want that for him. I know this is not where we were supposed to be going with this. But
no, that's okay.
I just don't want that for him because I know he's a good kid. It's just, it just doesn't, it's not not a good look. It just, I just need a little more effort. Like your little feet run when you out there, when you running for your life. I need you to put forth that kind of effort.
Into leadership. Yeah. I'm interested in hearing like his teammates and what his teammates say about.
Yeah, I would like to know.
Only because like I've seen like, and I spoke earlier about Antoine Bethea and like he wasn't a super like vocal guy, and I think he grew into that. Like, but speaking about my freshman year, his sophomore year, there were players on that defense who had been there some years. You know what I'm saying? And they were like the vocal guys. Mm-hmm. But every week, Antoine Bethea had some crazy interception return for a touchdown, fumble return for a touchdown, and he kind of worked his way into being that vocal, you know what I'm saying, leader. But from the beginning, it was like, yo, this is the standard. This is how we supposed to play. Like, let me at least try to live up to that a little bit.
No, I get it.
You know what I'm saying? Well, for me.
Yeah.
I can't speak for anybody else, but yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, y'all have to let us know.
Yeah, y'all let us know who's really right.
Who's really right.
it's I don't even know how to even like hold this.
Good luck with that. I'm gonna let you have that. Figure that out.
I'm gonna put it up there tomorrow, but y'all let us know who y'all think is really right. I'm just gonna put up there leadership style, Stephanie, Jarrett, who's really right.
That should be interesting.
Right.
We're going to see what comes back. This is going to be a popularity contest.
Yeah, right. Well, and you've been winning the popularity contest. So. Even my friends vote for you. Like, all right, now, come on.
I saw that I was winning last week's.
Like, come on.
Voted.
Can we get some bias in here somewhere?
Yeah. I'm just saying. Yeah.
Nah.
Now put the cameras on me, 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 put the cameras on me.